Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Aspire Tech Talk, a video series where we discuss technology, potential job prospects, and some critical skill set that could win you those jobs. And today, we will look at the journey of Java, things that we can learn from its past, compare it to the present, and look at what's in store for the future. Not just that, we'll also be discussing about the key skill sets, career prospects, and opportunities with the Aspire system, especially in this vertical. To take us through the journey of Java, we have with us today Mr. Chandramouli Parashuraman, who is a senior technical architect with the Dev Business Unit at Aspire Systems. Welcome to the Aspire Tech Talk series, Chandramouli.
Thanks, Minu. Thanks for inviting me to this Tech Talk.
Let's directly dive into the topic because it is very interesting. So, I wanted to ask you by starting with why this topic Java past, present, and future?
Yeah, so Java has been the dominant programming language for more than 2 decades now. And in the past decade, it dominated even the consumer mobility segment. So, in many ways, it has stayed true to its write once, run anywhere mantra. And never in the history of high level programming languages has been a language that was so successful in both enterprise and consumer markets. I mean, leave aside C, C++ for a moment because they could be called more mid level than high level, but Java has been there so successful in both segments.
Could you give us a glimpse to the Java's past?
Sure. So, after starting its journey in the year of 1996 with its first generally available release of JDK 1.0, Java has always followed an irregular and an unpredictable path that was typical of those times. And this picture that you could see on the screen now tells the story better. So, till Java 8, the releases were irregular and unpredictable, as you can see on the picture. And see, the developers' preference for frequent innovations vis-a-vis the enterprise's preference for stability, it was very difficult to manage that, right? So that has always been a thorn in the earlier releases of Java 8 in the earlier days.
So, what are some of the learnings that the Java community comprehended from the past issues and how it is affecting the present?
Yeah. So, based on the past learnings and to achieve this balance between innovation and stability, so currently the Java language has a feature release every 6 months and an update release every 3 months. This takes care of the innovation as well as the security updates and related patches. And LTS release, that is long term support release, happens every 2 years. And this means the enterprises know that they will have a predictable and stable release with all the innovations that happened in the past 2 years baked into the LTS. So this has been the learning that has been taken in the recent times.
Right, that makes more sense. So, during one of our offline conversations, you were mentioning that Java 8 is considered as a milestone in many ways. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So Java 8 was released in the year of 2014 and it is marked as an LTS release, long term support release, right? So there are some interesting observations about Java 8. Again, bringing up this picture here, you can see that even in 2022, that is as of now, Java 8 is a close second to Java 11. So there are various reasons to it. Like there is this cost versus benefit, like what kind of cost the customer would incur vis-a-vis what kind of benefit they would reap if they have to upgrade from Java 8 to Java 11. And the Java 8 being LTS, it has been in production for a very long time in many organizations. So customers are a bit reluctant to rock the boat. And even the newer releases, right, which happens once in only every 2 years, which means the organizations want to do the catch up a bit cautiously. So in that way, Java 8 has been a milestone, I would say. But Java 11 is already catching up. Like it's marching ahead and widening the gap.
Right, right. So that's good enough information about the Java releases and its impact on its current state. Other than these, what else is happening in the Java community that is, of significant interest to especially our tech enthusiast viewers?
Yeah, so many. For example, the modern frameworks, particularly the Spring and Spring Boot, make it easy to develop apps on microservices architecture. And we also have Quarkus and Micronaut. These are some of the newer frameworks that have come up in recent times. And containerization is on the rise. So, lightweight Docker containers orchestrated on a Kubernetes cluster is the current default go to option nowadays. And Java 8 and the later versions have better support for containerization. And with the rise of cloud providers, running stateless apps, preferably on containers, is also very important. So modern frameworks that are built on Java 8 or later enable easier deployment and management on cloud environments.
At this point, I want to ask something related to Aspire. So, now that we are talking about the future of Java, how do you see the future of Java, especially in the context of Aspire systems?
Yeah. So at Aspire, the future of Java definitely, I would say, is bright in the sense that we started with a very small team of Java developers. Now, the open source team that comprises of both Java and LAMP has a huge number of developers. Particularly, Java is still the bigger part among these teams, and there is a significant amount of interest expressed by customers even in the recent times, particularly with respect to the cloud adoption and containerization, and also upgrading from lower versions to higher versions of Java. So I would say that the future of Java, particularly in Aspire as well as in the industry, is definitely bright.
Absolutely. So that definitely now brings us to the next segment of our video. Now that we are talking about future, that involves a lot of skilled minds. So talking about that, could you please share a few in-demand job profiles, especially in this technology vertical, that people can look forward to who are interested towards this?
So someone who joins Aspire, particularly the development service line, would be playing one of these roles from job profile perspective, not a designation perspective, but how they do the job, right? So they could be a web developer working primarily on web applications, REST APIs, and other backend services, or they could be a mobile developer working on native Android development using one of the modern frameworks like React Native or even native Android code, or they could work with the BFS team at Aspire. So Aspire has a vertical called the banking and financial services team. So they could work with that team to develop custom apps built on top of Temenos framework.
Yes. So obviously there is a lot of opportunities what we could understand from this. So to get to these opportunities, a person should have certain skill sets, right? So can you please let us know? I mean, let our viewers know a little bit more about the critical skill set, especially at Aspire Systems, that we look for when we are especially hiring the right candidate.
Sure, sure. So to begin with, Java 8 and above, that goes without saying, obviously. The candidate who wishes to join Aspire with the development team in Java should learn Java 8 and one of the above versions. And Spring Boot is the primary framework that is mostly used. So knowledge and experience in those frameworks is definitely required. Having knowledge of microservices architecture would definitely be helpful. Cloud containerization would be an added advantage for someone who's joining as a developer, but though not mandatory really. But for tech leads and above, it is expected that they should be familiar with one of these, either cloud or containerization, or even both.
What are the kind of learning opportunities that we provide to our people when they join Aspire system, especially in the dev business unit?
Yeah, yeah. So in the Java practice at Aspire, we have opportunities to work on cutting edge technologies and concepts, which include microservices, reactive programming, cloud, containerization, and so on. Some of these we already looked about, right? And as a developer, one would be working on such projects where they could grow further and solidify in the above areas, but they could also participate in our in-house R&D team called Advanced Technology Group. So ATG, as it is called here, is the group that mostly focuses on R&D, as well as is the group that defines the technology roadmap of the organization. So they will naturally get opportunities that help define the organization's technology roadmap, obviously. And there will be opportunities to work with our strong pre-sales team, where one would learn how to work with the prospects, understand their pain points, and provide a solution as part of a proposal.
Along with the learning opportunities, another thing that people always are curious to know about the career growth opportunities when one join a company. So, like if we keep Aspire system in the focus point, what do you think are the career opportunity, growth opportunity for a person joining in this technology?
Sure. So, being an engineer or a senior engineer, one would further their skills by working on projects aligned to their strengths. So, when they join as an engineer or a senior engineer, they would have to start owning features, write, test, and debug Java programs. That is the primary, I would say, a work of an engineer or an SSE as well. SSE who could take some additional responsibilities beyond engineers. And then one could grow to become a module lead and tech lead, which involves additional responsibilities of guiding and mentoring the other team members, and also owning a module or, in some cases, a slightly larger project as well. And with such an experience, they could then become an associate technical architect, or even eventually a technical architect, when they will be working on architectural concepts, defining the solution architecture for clients. And they would also participate, obviously, in the ATG activities that has an organization wide impact.
Chandramoli, this was a wonderful session loaded with some valuable information we are sure the Java community could totally relate to and get inspired from. Thank you so much for the time you've spent with us and the knowledge you have shared.
Thanks, Menu. Before we close, yeah, to the audience here, Aspere's Java team is a future-looking team, and we are always working on cutting-edge technologies, as you might have just heard in this tech talk. So we are more than welcome if you are interested and strong in the above areas. We would be more than welcome to onboard you into our team. So thanks, Minu. Thanks again for the opportunity provided, and I'm looking forward to more such sessions.
Folks, if you have these skill set and you are looking for an amazing career opportunity with a people-centric organization, do check out Aspire's career page, which is www.aspiresystem.com/career. Thank you so much.